Hi, I'm Jana, and I'm gonna be interviewing my uncle.
Hi,
Hi, so I'm gonna just ask you a couple of quick questions.
you sure can.
Okay, where did you migrate from?
I started off at Illinois when I came from Egypt like 15 years ago. And in Chicago, Illinois, there is lots of different cultures and lots of opportunities. So I started off at Chicago, and then I migrated almost to everywhere in the United States since it's continental. It's lots of different things here and there. So I was East Coast, West Coast, North Coast, South Coast, South, and Midwest, of course. I migrated mostly for work. So I lived and worked in Fort Myers, Florida, Tampa, Florida, and then back to, excuse me, Waukegan, Illinois, and then I for another job, and then at that time I got married, so I stayed for a while, and then I moved to Kenosha, Wisconsin, for another job, and then I actually moved to Chicago Ridge for another job in Illinois. And then, excuse me, um, I stayed for a couple of years at that job, and then I started a travel career when I started actually to spend 6 months to 9 months in a spot and then move over to a different spot for a different job assignment. I actually lived and worked in Grinnell, Iowa. I worked and lived in Indiana. I also migrated or worked and lived for a few months in Massachusetts, in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in Alabama, in to Louisiana, um, Oregon State, Nebraska, and probably quite a few more places that I actually don't even remember. It's been a while.
So what was the? Oh, you said just the cause of your migration. So
Yeah, the cause was for a job.
yeah. So what did you like about your migration?
I love seeing new people, different minds, and different faces, and different weathers and climates too. It's quite different between north and south, climate-wise. It's quite different also in how people talk and their dialect, their slang, their it's kind of a different, a little bit different culture too between north and south. It's I like varieties, so I am kind of enjoying moving to new places and making new friends everywhere.
Great. What did you not like about your migration?
Um, Kind of the inconvenience of setting up a place to live in a new town, but that's not a big deal. It takes a few hours to set up the place and move over and put your or my clothes and my personal stuff in order in the new place.
What medical school did you go to?
I went to Ain Shams Medical School back in Egypt, 1992, graduate, and it was lots of fun over there back in Cairo, Egypt.
Um, what did you miss about the place that you originally migrated from?
Um, Not much. The warmth of people. People are much warmer in Egypt than here. Um, I miss also the friendly culture in Egypt. People in Egypt, they are eager to know about you and to help you as much as they can.
Great. When did you migrate?
I came to the United States in 2001, and I stayed for a few months in Brooklyn, New York, and then I moved to Chicago, Illinois, where I stayed for a few years, and then I started my traveling career.
Um, how? What challenges did you face?
Well, I am coming from a different culture, and there was sometimes miscommunications, language barrier, and culture barrier. It's different from the language thing. Um, what's impolite sometimes is not considered impolite in a different culture, and what's polite is not considered uh, polite in different cultures, and so on. Yeah, that were lots of challenges understanding behavioral things with people, and also how to express myself pretty well. That's the biggest challenge.
How did this affect you or others?
Affecting me, well, actually, um, it's I think it positively affected me that I put some efforts in learning about different people and different cultures and different ways of thinking, different philosophies. Um, that made me actually, I think, better. Uh, Affected others. I think also they got the same. They got to know a different person with the different views and different
Character traits.
correct. Yes, and so it was positive either ways on both ways.
Was it worth it? Was the migration worth it?
I am glad. Yes, definitely yes. I am so glad. I am happy I'm here. I am happy and proud to be a U.S. citizen. That stands for all good meanings. Um, Justice for all, open mind, progress, science, freedom for everybody, freedom of thinking, freedom of religion, freedom of speaking, all freedoms in the amendments, all human rights in the amendment bill. The democracy, the ability to do what I want to do and think what I want to think and go the way I'd like to go without, of course, harming anybody. And that's not very approachable in Middle East and generally in the third world. So I am so glad I am here practicing my freedom.
Okay, thank you for your time.
You are most welcome. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.